weeks ago, me, Florian, and George were out one night, and we saw Florian walk away with 2 bonds. And they walked out, and you know what? I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, thinking maybe he's just like, that's weird.
You know, when Darcy said that I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, that didn't make any sense to me. Simply because, well, you know that this man has cheated on your sister in the past. So if you see him do anything that implies that he may be back to his old ways, if you ask me, it's important that you inform your sister immediately. Don't get me wrong, maybe you didn't want to because you didn't want to raise false alarms. You didn't want her to start accusing him of something that he hasn't done wrong. So maybe you wanted to wait for a little bit more proof. I mean, I can understand that. But at the same time, to tell someone later on, it's one of those situations, isn't it? It's like, what do you do? I mean, I think, to be honest with you, if it's a case of where he had never cheated before, then I guess you don't say too much. But because he had, you let me know. What would you do in that situation? But anyway, we continue.
I was like, no family or smoke a cigarette, but I got a text from Georgie. And one of these girls that was there that night that he walked away with said something to Georgie. Florian, thank you for taking me home. What? Yeah.
Now, the thing is, obviously, you know, thank you for taking me home. It doesn't necessarily mean anything happened per se. You know what I mean? I mean, but the question does still get raised. Would you want your partner to be taking the opposite gender home? An opposite of a random person that you don't even know. I think that's where the problem lies, isn't it? You know, a random person that you don't even know. I mean, listen, this is one of those situations where it really depends on the people involved. Some people would be okay with it, some people wouldn't be okay with it. So it really comes down to your relationship. But on this context, based on the fact that he has been unloyal in the past, him doing that, boy, I know it wouldn't be me. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, you know, she had more to say. Like they hooked up or something? Like maybe a kiss, maybe, you know, getting numbers from each other. I felt something.
You see, the thing is, though, now everything that's been said is based on assumptions. I think when assumptions, you know, obviously get involved in a conversation, that's when things can go, you know, to a direction that may lead in a direction that you don't need to go into. I mean, don't get me wrong, at the end of the day, if this woman has said something, but hasn't actually, listen, if she said that, hey, you took me home, thank you for taking me home, then that's fine. You address that information. I mean, it's not fine, but you address that information. But if she didn't say anything else, is it right to then address that her energy says that maybe more could have happened? You know what? Here's the thing. George is the one that was there. He's the one that's having a conversation with this woman. If he felt that the woman wanted to say more, he should have really asked her, so did anything else happen? Rather than go off and tell Darcy that it felt like as if she wanted to say more. Because what does that mean? What does that truly mean? Because to be honest with you, she may be just saying that, listen, I really appreciate the fact that he took me home and I wouldn't mind getting to know him more. Because maybe this woman doesn't know that he's got somebody, do you see what I'm saying? That could be that could literally the energy that she's giving off is that I want to get to know him more because I like the fact that he took me home, you know, when he didn't have to. That's all it could mean. So really and truly, instead of now saying this happened, Georgie should have asked the question. I know I would have been like, so did anything happen with you two or whatnot? You know what I mean? I mean, listen, I understand it's not the, you know, the ease of questions to ask or whatnot, but to be honest, if I ask the question, how you behave and how you respond to that question will give me the information that I need to then feel that I need to know. So therefore I know what I should pass on. Do you see what I'm saying? Rather than passing something on that is based on, don't get me wrong, it would still be an assumption, but at least you've asked a question and you've been able to read that person's body language. You see what I'm saying? Rather than, yeah, she just told me that, say thank you. And she kind of felt like, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's just my take.
Other woman behind my back?
Have like live in our building?
Oh, she lives in the building. Oh, just like I thought.
But then when you find out that she lived in the same building, it doesn't make anything better. Far from it.
Just falling down like this, like drunk kid. Just in crossing the street, almost fall down 2-3 times. And I opened the main door. I opened the main door for her. I clicked the elevator for her. She still have the key. I just buzzed for her the key.
The way this man was ready with a full-on story about what happened and why he did it is crazy to me. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. It doesn't matter. Your story it's not even relevant because your woman ain't looking to listen to that story. Because this is the thing, right? If the story was this innocent, then the day or the night that it happened, literally when you got home, that next morning you woke up, because clearly Stacey would have been sleeping that evening you got home, I'd assume anyway. But that next morning you literally say to her, hey, just so you know, I took one of the girls who lives in our block. I took her home because I noticed that she was this and that. You address it then there. You don't keep it to yourself and then only address it when you're now being confronted. Just keeping it to yourself and now addressing it. I mean, listen, even if you're telling the truth, it's not a good look, you know, because, yeah, that's just that, you know. And to be honest, with the fact that she lives in the same building as you, you'd think you'd be more inclined to want to tell your missus straight away, you know, because she can easily bump into it at any given time. But therefore, now this goes back to the other point that I was making before. Because they live in the same building, this other woman must know that clearly he's got somebody. She must know that he's obviously, you know, married and whatnot. Okay. So therefore, that would bring the question of when she was saying thank you to Georgie to say thank you for taking me, and if she was giving this energy of like da, again, it still doesn't imply that anything happened, you know. That energy can still be like, well, I've noticed those two have got a rocky situation, so if he wants to leave, let him know available. It could mean anything. That's why Georgie should have asked the question. Did anything happen between you two? Okay? Or find a way to ask the question in the ways that you can get answers. You see what I'm saying? Rather than being direct, sometimes you're going to ask people questions in certain ways. But to be fair, if he met that, and to be fair, the night when Georgie was having a conversation with this woman, she may have been drunk again. So maybe her energy was just all over the place because she was drunk. You never know. But again, if you don't ask, then what do you have?
The first time you cheated on me, oh, we just kissed. There's a pattern here. I've seen you flirt with girls flirt with you. You're coming home with makeup on the shirt. I don't believe you.
See, at this point here, this is the point I was like, okay, well, now the conversation is a whole lot bigger than Florian, you know, taking this woman home. It's a whole lot bigger than that. This is due to the fact that she still has trust issues for him. The matter of fact is, as long as this man is still breathing next to any woman, she's not going to be happy because of what he's done. And therefore brings you to ask the simple question of why are you still here with him? You know, shouldn't you have left him at this point? You know, why are you still investing yourself with somebody that clearly you can't trust anymore because of what they've done in the past? But listen, people seem to choose to want to stay around in relationships with people that aren't healthy for them. And you know what? That's just their choice.
Talking to me, he's not looking me in the eye. His body language looks very nervous. Like, he's guilty. Don't play me for a fool.
He's guilty. Don't play me for a fool. I mean, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, in this situation, I wouldn't even say that he's playing her for a fool. I would say that she's playing herself for a fool because she's still choosing to stick around. Do you see what I'm saying? If you know the person you're with is guilty, or you feel like they're guilty, or you feel like you can never trust them again, but you still choose to stay around, the only person that's being played a fool is you playing a fool to yourself.
I don't know, but Darcy making the on purpose, I promise you.
Why do you think Darcy would make this up on purpose?
Have more good relationship in her, like this is thinking like bringing things like...
So you think she's jealous of your relationship, basically?
Yeah.
Now, earlier on in the episode, okay, obviously there was the little meeting between Stacey, Darcy, and the therapist, and also Florian, okay? And yeah, obviously in that conversation, things were weighing into a situation where it felt like, you know, Stacey was definitely pulling away from Darcy, and obviously wanted her husband to pull away from Darcy as well. And listen, so I understand what he's saying, and I understand that he's trying to use this as a tool, as a weapon. But yeah, even if that was the case, it doesn't change the fact that your wife doesn't trust you no more. Changes nothing, to be honest with you. I mean, the only thing it changes is that Darcy may be lying, but clearly we saw her have a phone call and then say, okay, da-da-da-da. So she's not lying because she did have a phone call, do you see what I'm saying? But whether Darcy was lying or not, the thing that Florian has established the mostly is how can he prevent this from ever happening again? And that's the question, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Darcy and her husband exaggerating the story, get more close to Stacey, because in therapy, Darcy felt Stacey pushing her away.
Ah, dear. Well, the question is, Florence, how are you going to win your wife back? You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, though, I don't even think it's even the point. You know what? It's not even about even winning her back now, is it? It's more about how is she ever going to pull away from him. It's clear their relationship is not healthy. You know, winning Stacey back is way out of the picture, to be honest with you. It's about how Stacey's going to find that willpower, that strength to finally say, you know what, enough is enough. But she's probably not. She's probably going to continue sticking around. And, well, that's that. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section and we'll talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.